Feeling lost and confused on what to do on Bind? Want tips to learn to dominate and carry your team? Well, look no further. Welcome back to another map-focused video, ProGuides family. It's Trey yet again with another video. Recently, we covered a map guide for Haven. Now we're going to be moving on to Bind. Bind is a very heavy execute-centered map for attackers and has a lot of important areas that need to be controlled throughout the game. Let's get into our video and give you guys some tips on how to carry on Bind. But first, as always, we have our question of the day. With the recent release of Killjoy's teaser, I want to ask you guys, do you think Killjoy is going to be balanced or not? From what we saw in the teaser video, she has very strong defensive capabilities with tools that give her a lot of information. It seems like she will be put in the Sentinel category based on her abilities, but we'll have to wait and see. Her ultimate also seems very powerful but takes quite a bit of charge up time for the effect. I definitely will be giving her a try, but let me know your thoughts from what you guys saw in the teaser video. Comment down below. Into the video we go, and the first tip I want to tell you guys is to focus on Orb Control on both attacking and defending side. Orb Control is extremely underrated, especially here on Bind, where the orbs are in great spots to fight for. The orbs are located at the top of B-Long and in showers. I don't have to tell you this, but the more ultimates you have in a game, the more impactful you're going to be. Don't underestimate how valuable ultimates can be. Some great agents I want to mention that should have priority to getting the orb first over others are Brimstone, Sage, Raze, and Sova. Everybody can make use of the ultimate orb obviously, but some more than others. And in order to contest the orb early, you can do multiple things. If you're simply a better aimer, feel free to swing and kill as many as you can, but of course not all of us are like that. For defending side, on B-Long, you can smoke just deep at the bottom of B-Long, and for showers, you can smoke just outside of it. When you stick the orb, try not to stay directly on top of it, but rather as far as you can to the side when sticking it. Just be mindful this won't work every round. If the enemy knows you like sticking the orb, they can either 1. Run through your smoke, or 2. Spam through your smoke. Make sure after the first few times you take the orb, you start tapping the orb instead of sticking initially to fake people to run through or spam. If they run through the smoke, you should have the advantage in getting the first shot. If they try to start spamming you through the smoke, spam back in the location where you see tracers. The ability to play for orb control and around smoke is very underrated. Try doing this in your rank games, and if you do start securing more orbs, you'll see excellent results. Next tip is for the signature mechanic on this map, the teleporters. A lot of people are scared to use this for good reason. If you don't know what you're doing, you're putting yourself in a very compromised position that might lead to a death. But in the right hands, this is a very effective tool that can snowball a game. Let's start with how abilities can travel through the teleporter. You probably won't use the TP at B-Long for this, but rather the A-Short teleporter towards Hookah. Let's say if your Hookah player calls out that he hears a lot of footsteps headed towards Hookah, you would want to throw some abilities into the teleporter. Remember, you want to throw it at the center of the portal as you can, so that your ability will go through as the teleporter door opens and it won't get stuck on the teleporter door. Practice this in custom games to gauge distance and consistency to land it in games. Some great abilities to send through towards Hookah are Raze's Pain Shell / Boombot, Sage's Slow Orbs, and any sorts of mollies. If you're playing close towards A-Short and have a teammate playing Hookah, try to have them communicate to you when enemies are committing to Hookah push, then you can proceed to throw your abilities in there to help wipe the enemy team. So when should you take the teleporter then? Well, it's useful for a lot of things like quick rotate, fakes, and saving. Let's start with quick rotates. This is a common situation I'll give to you. Let's say the enemy team has gotten into A and your team is playing the retake. If you're playing B-Long and Garden, you want to peek B-Long with your gun out just in case there are any lurkers, and then take the B-Long TP towards showers for a quick flank. Of course, enemy team will hear you and you're going to have to rely on your aim, but if you manage to stay alive in the flank and maybe even get a kill while your teammates are retaking, this will cause immense pressure on the enemy team to clear you out or be in threat of getting sandwiched. This kind of works like an Omen ulti and gives your team a really great chance to push in if the enemy is sending resources to deal with you. For the attacking side, let's use a previous example. Let's say you get into A, but you lose a lot of people and it becomes something like a 2v4. If you're taking too long to get the bomb down, sight isn't clear, and the enemy team is probably flanking, then it's probably a good idea to take the TP from A to Hookah and try to get a free plant on B. From there, after you plant, you'd probably want to push up and try to win some 1v1 fights to turn it into man advantage so you can just play the bomb from there. This won't always net you a win, but you will most often get a bomb plant and probably the highest chance to win that round. Now, let's take it up a notch. Let's say you're hitting B and it's a 3v3 and you have like 2 people B-Long and 1 Hookah and you know the enemy team has fully rotated. Well, you could either send both your B-Long players to TP and try to rotate and plant A. That would work pretty well. Or you could play some mind games. Let's say you send one person through TP to showers to run into A. After like 10 or so seconds, they might think you'll have rotated off of B and have to send somebody to A to clear it out. That might give you guys a really great opportune moment to secure another pick and get onto B site for a plant, while that guy who took TP can start flanking slowly through CT. There are some really crazy mind game plays you can do with the teleporter, but it does require a lot of team coordination. I'd only advise this if you're playing with a stack of friends or in higher elo. Last tip for you guys is that you guys can save in the teleporter pretty well if it's like a 1v5. Try to take an off angle either to the left or right of the TP when you're in there. It's pretty hard for enemies to know where you're positioned, so it'll normally be a pretty free kill when they try to chase you. So yeah, teleporters are great for quick rotations, mind games with fakes, and saving. Our next tip is setting up the flank on bind. Flanks are very high risk and high reward, but when it does work, you completely change the round in your favor. Ideally, flanks are best on the outer edges of the map. For bind specifically, you're normally going to start your flank from either showers or B-long, but occasionally you can push out of A-short and hookah. B-long and showers are probably your best bet though. When you are flanking, always expect at least one person around the area, so you always want to walk. If you get into duel and win the fight, you probably just want to back up with the man advantage. If you don't see anybody though, feel free to keep pushing and ask your team to rotate to the other side. Try not to do this every round, as you'll be very predictable and give away free kills you don't need to. Also remember not to be greedy. If you do get a pick, it's usually better to back off and play site due to your man advantage. If you go for 1-for-1s, it's usually better for the attackers as the defense is more thinly spread. Flanking in lower elo is great as you can focus more on positional play through areas the enemies aren't watching, and there will be a lot of that in that elo. Also, if you're confident in your aim duels, you can just constantly force 1v1s across the map. On to the next one. This one is a pretty straightforward one. Operators. If you're good with snipers, by all means pick it up when you have the money for it. These things are great for getting an opening pick and giving your team an early lead. If you really want to make an impact, you're going to have to know how to hold more aggressive angles and then fall back. As you all might know, Jett is a fantastic example for this because of how versatile her dash is. She can hold very far up, shoot, and then dash out after a kill. I'd highly recommend her if you're proficient at opping and are very good mechanically. I'd also like to apologize to all the teams that get future Jett mains on their team due to this video. I'm sorry. Back to what I was saying though, go aggressive to get a pick and fall back and play man advantage. I'd recommend to not have more than one, as even 2 operators make retaking sites very hard on defense. If you also do lose everybody on your team, it's a very hefty price to pay as your economy might be ruined, giving your opponents another free round. Try not to have more than 2 operators on your team, and if you do, have an operator try to make a play aggressively. Also, I'd like to mention switch things up. If the enemy knows you're opping A short after you kill them a few times, then go B for one round. Peek B long or hold hookah, whatever you feel like. Mixing up your position is what separates good operators from great operators. The ability to predict the flow and switch things up to match where enemies will be going is what makes a proficient operator. And a proficient operator will always make an impact on the game. And back to the fundamentals, I want to tell you guys for our next tip is to learn your smokes, people. Like I said, for bind, it's a very heavy execute focus map, and for that you need to gain a lot of map control leading to proper smokes. If you want free control over an area, do early smokes to prevent possible early pushes from defenders. Omen is great for this because of his rechargeable smokes. For example, if you're attacking and you're having trouble with taking garden control leading to a B take, well, then smoke in front of garden so that defenders won't be able to see you guys walk up. This will probably cause defenders to fall back on the site. Once your teammates get into hookah, you probably want to smoke off defender spawn and elbow. That would be a great way to set up your teammates to get onto site. Same thing with A short. If you want early A short control, do a smoke early in front of U-Haul. This smoke will allow you to get closer up A short and also make the enemy panic and waste utility, which is great for later into the rounds as they won't have it when you guys start your execute. After you bait out more utility, then it's a good time to go in. For bind A, there are different ways to take the site. If you want a more in-depth explanation for this, go check out our other video with the T1 versus TSM analysis in the Twitch Rivals. That game is on bind and expertly demonstrates how to use smokes if you guys want to learn more about it. Another thing you guys probably know already is there's a great one-way smoke on short. Viper and Omen can set up great one-ways that will make enemies second think themselves on going in. Brimstone smoke is a little bit more narrow, making it not as great, but it's still doable. Remember, if you are a controller agent, be sure to be using that one-way A short. It's highly effective for controlling down that narrow choke leading to A. And that'll be it for our video today. Thank you guys so much for watching. This video was specifically aimed towards Bind, and we hope you guys follow our tips and see fantastic results whenever you get that map. If you did like it, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to help support our channel. Stay tuned and expect more great content in the future. As always, my name is Trey, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Peace out, guys.